The Copenhagen Jazz Festival ends this weekend in Denmark's capital. The organizers claim it is the world's biggest such event and that Denmark has now become the epicenter of global jazz. Some of the American musicians there express envy that this quintessential American music now thrives abroad, thanks to Danish government investment. Special correspondent Malcolm Brabant is based in Copenhagen, and he brings us all that Danish jazz.
The streets and squares are alive to the sound of improvisation as the city stages 1,400 concerts in 10 days, leading to claims that Copenhagen is now the jazz capital of the world.
It's a kind of music you can make swing. We like the swing feeling, so that's how we perform it.
Drummer Jørn Fjeldstrup fears that, like Viennese waltzes, traditional jazz will soon be consigned to history.
Everything has its time. I think 5% of the people knows or like this kind of jazz. Mainly my age, I think. So it will die with us.
But in Copenhagen's meatpacking district, the boundaries of jazz are being expanded in a way that's attracting international attention. Drummer Emil de Waal.
To me, jazz is a very open genre. To me, jazz is a very alive genre, and what we're doing here is trying to make jazz work together with electronic music. I can't see a world without improvisational music, so I'm really optimistic.
Grammy-winning drummer Victor Jones has joined a distinguished list of American musicians who've moved to Denmark because of its rich jazz culture.
They have an audience that understands the music, which in America, it's pretty difficult to find an audience like that, you know.
She is a secret.
What's good about here is that they also teach it in school. In America, they just don't have it in school and they just don't have it on TV, so here I am.
Six times Grammy-winning saxophonist David Sanborn laments a lack of investment in a culture that America invented.
Well, you have a different dynamic over here, and in Europe in general, the arts that's funded by the governments, which you don't get in America, and even less so now. So I think that there's a certain institutional respect for what this music means to the world. Consequently, it fosters, you know, great Danish jazz musicians.
She's all I have.
Such as pianist Niels Landoki. He learned his craft among legends in New York and now runs a successful jazz club in Copenhagen.
In New York and in America in general, it's difficult to experiment and develop new products because the pressure to be profitable is so high, so bottom line oriented that, you know, they need to play it safe, establish names, and, you know, you don't see the kind of experimentation and diversity that we have here.
In Denmark, the jazz gene pool is being revitalized. Landoki's protege, 19-year-old Amanda Thompson, has chosen jazz over other genres.
Do you like to see me broken?
Jazz surprises because, yeah, you can do what you want in jazz and improvise. You can create all the time, so every song is new every day.
Jazz may be thriving here, but the common perception that jazz is incapable of standing on its own 2 feet financially also applies here. Festival organisers say that subsidies from central and local government as well as private foundations are essential, because without them, this festival would not be on such a grand scale.
You make me feel so young.
Curtis Stigers says that jazz will always struggle because its art takes precedence over commerce.
And every time I see you grin, I'm such a happy individual.
I am very, very, very lucky. I make a living playing jazz music. I have to come to Europe to do it.
I want to go and play hide and seek.
We are the red-headed stepchild of the music business. We're a niche market, but the people that love jazz, they're willing to pay, they're willing to suffer a little bit to hear this music and to support it, and I'm grateful for that. Charlie Parker played pop songs, he just turned them into jazz tunes, and that's what we have to do, as opposed to just listening to Miles Davis and saying that's jazz.
Here's another dimension, liturgical jazz.
Og vilje til at træde ind for hinanden, når det behøves.
Anders Gadegaard is the Dean of Copenhagen Cathedral.
When you add this jazz tone, it becomes much more vital for people, and it becomes easier for us to proclaim the gospel, so to speak.
The Jazz Mass was written by bassist Chris Mindoki, brother of the pianist.
If you take an old song from the Danish song tradition that's 300 years old, there's a reason why it lasted 300 years, because the melody is really good. If you just take the melody and set it free and don't constrain it in any boxed-in way, and just present it as is with a contemporary harmonization and presentation, you will hear that this melody is universal. It's basically the same thing hearing a pop song from the 50s that turns into a jazz standard.
The claim that Denmark is the epicenter of global jazz may be disputed, but this congregation proves beyond doubt that the spirit is strong. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Malcolm Brabant in Copenhagen.